ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Good morning! Rise and freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. Nice to see you guys. Come on in. It's time to deck the halls with boughs of holly. Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Sign of Jonah. What's up, brother? Brandon Meyer. Nice to see you, man. Take a little break from crab fishing. Merry Christmas to you, sir. Robbie Theraman. Barney Styles, our favorite furry. Kermode Bear. Southcott, all joining us live this morning. Hey, guys. Click that like button. It's the Wake Up America show, and I'm your host, Austin Peterson. The show on Christmas week. Bring a little bit of Christmas holiday cheer. Maybe we'll laugh at the liberals. Maybe we'll realize that many Republicans really are liberals in the end. It's going to be a great show today. It's the last show before Christmas, but don't be mad. Hey, now everybody gets a break here. Today's the last day before Christmas. Once it's over, we're packing up the new family truckster, and we are headed west, young man, and bringing my baby for her very first little Christmas. Sweet little baby Hazel and Stephanie and I packing in the family truckster on the way to Kansas City, Peculiar, Missouri. First stop, Peculiar, Missouri. Second stop, Crown Center, Kansas City. Downtown, and then who knows what shenanigans and fun might happen in Kansas City tonight with me, my siblings, my nephews, my dad, my wife, my little baby, and we are just going to light up the town tonight in Kansas City. Not Kansas. Kansas? Shut up. It's Kansas City, Missouri. And so keep an eye out for us today on the road in our new family truckster. We are now the proud owners of a minivan. We're a minivan family. We're minivan guys. Of course we drive a Toyota Sienna. We got it for a really good price, and now we're a lot safer and on the road, and we got a lot more space for our growing family, because did you just think we were going to have one baby here on the For Liberty Network? Lots of news to catch up on, though. I mean, the news doesn't stop. And, but I do sometimes for Christmas, right? It's a special holiday, right? They say liberty never sleeps, but I admit, like, the last couple of days on the weekend, I actually did get a little bit of sleep, it felt good. Listen, this year has been wild and woolly. We had an unbelievable year over here at the For Liberty Network, and this little tiny operation has just been so scrappy that from January to December, right, I basically every week wrote like 2 columns a week, produced 5 shows, 10 hours of live streaming content a week, bonus content, so launched like new brands, ran the shop, did the whole Argentina Javier Milei sneaker line. You had the assassination narrative that went on this year, covered it all. Did some local stuff as well, made some new friends, made some new enemies, whoops, and hopefully in the new year we can start over again. I've got some New Year's resolutions, some things that I have to do. It's been a pretty wild last 3 months, because this year we really decided that for the For Liberty shop, we were going to try and do Black Friday, Cyber Monday, try and do all of the marketing stuff correctly according to industry standards. And I think to a large extent really did pay off, right? The increased activity, the increased productivity really helped us to get, to take our business to another level. And of course, the launch of the For Liberty Network, 2 new shows, Culturama and Liberty Tonight. And at America Fest this weekend, I've got clips of Donald Trump speaking, talking about the incoming administration's agenda. But at America Fest over the weekend was everybody's favorite hostess with the mostess. We saw Daniela Pensack. Look, isn't she cute there with her little Culturama pillow? There she is, dressed up like her 1950s self, repping the For Liberty Network. There she is with Alex Stein, the pimp on a blimp. There he got an interview with him, and she's going to be dropping that content soon. Way to go, Daniela. Congratulations to her. We're glad that she made it out there. She did a bunch of cool interviews. So 2020 was, I would say, overall a great year. Of course, the birth of my first child, little baby Hazel. Very exciting. And she's gorgeous, guys. So beautiful. She's 5 months old now, right? And she's just now starting to like roll over reliably. We'll like walk in on her in the mornings and stuff, and she's like on her belly and kind of like, it's kind of like new for her to like sleep on her tummy. So it's been an interesting experience. And her voice is kind of like starting to come into, like, she's not saying anything yet, but like she went from just having like a to now she's kind of like you could kind of like hear some like almost articulation happening there, and she's eating sweet potatoes and throwing those up all over me. A wonderful time has been had. Austin has been drinking some mulled wine. It's been a beautiful couple of days, and I plan on taking just a few days off. Guys, don't get mad. Don't get mad because I feel like I've earned it.
Please, no!
And we've got other exciting announcements for you today. We do have bonus content if we hit that $75 Rumble Rants, and you bless me with something.
Can you bless me?
And you bless me with something, then if we hit $75 by the end of the show, then either in Rumble Rants or in purchases at forlibertyshop.com, then we will unlock the bonus content. I figure that today's show is going to be a little bit more low-key and a little bit more offbeat because of the holidays. And typically people aren't necessarily watching as much political content, especially right-wing audiences and things. They're like driving home to their families today and doing things. But I decided that since we were going to be here today, before we go out, I would give you one last show. And we could just have one little hangout. You guys are here. Look, it's Liz joining us. Quest Fanning, Brandon Meyer, so many of our good friends joining us here. Like, why not? Why not do a little show for you guys? And speaking of the For Liberty shop, if you're looking for something to spend your money on, congratulations to me and to Steffi. It was her idea for us to sell For Liberty. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas tea. For Liberty. I feel a little dirty selling tea because coffee, of course, is the patriotic beverage, brew of choice for Americans. But tea is becoming more popular in the United States as people are looking to wind down from the most heavily caffeinated things. What I do is my routine is I start the morning with a big, huge thermos of Founding Flavors. And then when I get home, I start to wind her down with a little bit less caffeine, and I'll usually do like a Darjeeling tea. That's one of my like recent favorites. But I also love English breakfast teas, dark teas, black teas, the good old black teas. But I like a good masala chai as well. And people are super excited about the new For Liberty shop, For Liberty. I like that name myself. Our patriotic premium teas are available now at forlibertyshop.com for $17.76 a bag. Isn't that nice? Ooh, ah. Need a button that's just like ooh or ah. You can get these delicious teas that we are selling at forlibertyshop.com over at forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4. So guys, go buy some teas, some nice, delicious hot teas, and enjoy those. The mango is nice if you ice it, like put the mango treat, get a bag of mango treat, and then you guys will really love it. Just FYI, you can also have this delivered. You can subscribe. You get a discount. Every 2 weeks, you save 10%. Monthly, you save 5%. But if you just want to try a bunch of the teas today, guys, then I've set you guys up with like a bulk discount here. So if you buy 2, you save 5% today. If you buy 3, you save 7%. 5 or more, you're going to save 10% on those teas. So it'll add up to significant savings. There you go. So if you guys just want to make a one-time purchase, you can do so. And the more you buy, the more you save. A little cheaper than coffee, but it is a 3-ounce bag, so something to consider. Mango treat For Liberty, available for $17.76 a month. There you go. Apple cider tea, yes, with no caffeine there, Amy J.E.'s. Nice to see you, lovely lady. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. As usual, I've got a billion clips to play. Start them off right now. This is President Trump at America Fest. Oh, speaking of America Fest, one of the speakers at America Fest, will be on our show today. He was kind enough to join us, even though this is the week. It's like impossible to book anybody the week of Christmas because most of the people who are like kind of like influencers or like influential people like the week of Christmas, they're not like doing anything. They're all like in their pajamas this morning, like unshaven. You know, they're not getting up for work and getting on a Zoom call with me to do shows typically, right? So, and plus you kind of want to give people a break and not be like that annoying guy, right? The overachiever, right? You know, so, but we do have one of the speakers at America Fest this morning at 8:30 a.m. Central Time to give us a recap. That's going to be Cliff Maloney at 8:30. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas.
The actions I have described today are just a small preview of the common sense revolution, because that's what I call it, a common sense revolution that's coming soon to America, to a theater near you, right? But it's coming to you through your president, Donald J. Trump. The people have given us their trust, and in return, we're going to give them the best day one, the biggest first week, and the most extraordinary first 100 days of any president in American history. The action.
You'd love to see it. Hoping for a new golden age, keeping my expectations low.
Because your border is a disaster. Your border is a disaster, what's going on. And you just have a few days to wait. We're going to be fully operational, I would say, by about 2 o'clock on the 20th.
Better be.
20th of January. And we're going to change it because...
Got to be fully operational on the 20th. So what do I want to see? I want to see a pardon of the January Sixers.
And in conclusion, on January 20th, the United States will turn the page forever on 4 long, horrible years of failure, incompetence, national decline, and we will inaugurate a new era of peace, prosperity, and national greatness. It's going to be national greatness. It will be something very, very special. And you could use a little of that because you haven't seen any of it in 4 years. What's happened to our country is so sad. We're going to cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories roaring back to America and right back here to Arizona, because...
You love to see it, and I also am reading the news this morning that Trump, not only does he want to restore common sense and put names of military bases back to what they were, but I'm hearing now that apparently Donald Trump is endorsing aspects of my Libertarian Nationalist Manifesto in announcing that he is, this is the way the headline in the Wall Street Journal says it anyway, Trump threatens to take control of Panama Canal and Greenland. Oh boy. Threatens. Don't threaten me with a good time. If you haven't read my Libertarian Nationalism Manifesto, it's over at humanevents.com. I do write for them a column every single week. You should definitely read those, as well as my columns over at AMP America. This week's publication just dropped this morning from ampamerica.com with my writings on what libertarians can expect from a Donald Trump administration. And if I have time today, I will go through some of those things. But what would you like? What are you expecting out of Donald Trump? We all certainly hope that we can get those tax cuts extended and made permanent. But if the GOP continues to splinter, then the possibility of us being forced, the automatic increases on taxes will begin in 2026 if the GOP can't get their act together and figure out a way to cut spending appropriately. And there was this fascinating phenomenon that was going on over the weekend with the America Fest conference. And no, I'm not talking about Laura Loomer getting in the face of Milo Yiannopoulos while he goes like this, fighting, calling each other out for being drug addicts. No, I love the drama there. But specifically the spending drama that's going on between the MAGA populists and the more conservatives and libertarians in Congress who voted against the CR, the continuing resolution, to drive it into a final hour sprint to solve the problem of the last GOP holdouts who did not want to increase spending. And as usual, Thomas Massie was right about everything. And nobody really surprised me in their behavior. There's a section of the Republican Party that is 100% completely and totally devoted to Donald Trump. And some Congress people who are Republicans see themselves more as, I don't know, representing their constituents. I mean, God forbid. I love a lot of what I see from the Donald Trump administration. The idea of buying Greenland and wresting control of Greenland from Denmark. Denmark's not using it. You don't have to wrest control away from somebody who's just sitting there. And by the way, what is Denmark going to do about it? And I say this as a Danish American. This is the Danish American. So right there, like this is double D's, right? So no, that means something else. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wake Up America Show. I'm Austin Peterson. I've got some wild clips to share with you guys this morning. One is a migrant literally lighting a woman on the subway on fire and killing her before being arrested. But this came on the heels of an announcement from New York Governor Kathy Hochul about how safe it was to ride the subways. Oh, I can't play that clip until I turn off the stream over on YouTube and on X, because we all know I've been a very naughty little boy, and YouTube has decided, instead of allowing me to make a few $100 on their platform every month, that Austin will get nothing but coal in his stocking for Christmas. Oh no. Demonetized on YouTube until March for saying that Samantha Rupnow, the killer who is the killer who shot up a Christian school early last week was the R word, hard. I used the hard R on it's like if you were singing a song and you were looking at it and the song on the sheet music wanted you to slow down. In theory, if you were to write that out on paper, it would say retardando. But when we were in choir class in high school, we always giggled because we would call each other's retardandos. I said retardando. I didn't say the other word. Yeah, so demonetized January, February, March on that one. So if you're watching us over on YouTube, you can no longer make super chats. You can't be members of our YouTube channel. Every Culturama, Liberty Tonight stream, every short that I upload, every Wake Up America show, live stream that I do that's over on YouTube is purely for educational and entertaining purposes, but I would really appreciate it if you are watching us over on YouTube, and I know it's maybe like a half a dozen of you this morning. I haven't looked, but Joe Spinella, there are a few people who are like my YouTubers, and I get it, but the future is not for, the For Liberty is not have a future on YouTube, I'm sorry to say. We are... we are here on Rumble and on Locals First. So please join us on Rumble at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. That's the future home for the burgeoning For Liberty network. It's Rumble and it's on Locals. And if you're watching us over on YouTube, I want you guys to be here. I don't want you to go away. I know people may have problems with like Rumble's app or things like that, but try Locals. Just if you want to support this show, then the best place to watch us and to hang out with the community and be a part of the commenters is to go to rumble.com/AP4Liberty. Quest Fanning, he's trying to unlock that bonus content today. He might be the only one. He said, I've ridden the subway since the bad old days. I started riding solo at 10 years old. Never been mugged in my life. It's how you carry yourself. Yeah, well, but Quest, you are a man, and it is a little bit, it typically is a little bit less dangerous for us because, you're a scary looking dude, Quest. No, I'm just kidding. When you're a woman falling asleep on the train and you don't expect to just get lit up on fire by an illegal immigrant. So things like that have got to get fixed. So if you guys want to help support the show and you're watching us anywhere but on Rumble or on Locals, I would be super grateful if you would please come join us over there, just because I won't be able to play the clip of the Migrant in contrast with Kathy Hochul. You won't be able to see it. You won't be able to hear it. I'll try and turn it back on after I turn off the channels over there so that you guys can view those. But such as it is, I might not be able to do that. I'm not 100% sure on, turning it back on once it's been turned off. So Grizz Cheese decided to go to forlibertyshop.com and buy a box of roasted chestnut delight coffee. Thanks, Grizz. So we're at $40 raised towards the $75 goal for the bonus content today. We've got some really good bonus content. I hope you will unlock it if we hit that $75 goal by the end of the show. I've got clips, a million clips. I've got political clips. I've got funny clips. I've got drama clips. I've got weird stories. I've got I've got cool stories. I've got funny stories. But the story that's compelling me the most, and I have the clip here somewhere. Please, for the love of God, Austin, find the clip of an incident which occurred in Florida at a Christmas holiday drone show. So have you ever seen those shows, and they're becoming more and more common now, where there'll be hundreds and hundreds of drones in the sky, and they will move around in the air to make pictures, and they're really impressive. Well, one drone show in Florida went wrong. I think this one won't get me in trouble on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. A wild video that shows drones dive bombing a Florida Christmas show crowd. Multiple injuries were reported, including a little boy whose moms say is clinging to life. I kid you not. This story is absolutely insane. Drones at a Christmas show in Florida collided in midair and were sent careening to the crowd below at high speed, resulting in several reported injuries. This is insane. The Orlando Fire Department told News 6 that one person suffered a minor injury in the mishap. However, two mothers claimed their son, who was apparently struck in the face by a rogue drone, was left fighting for his life in the ER. Startling video shows the holiday display gone wrong play out, complete with shocked gasps from the audience and the cries of frightened children. I'm going to probably play this video a few times this morning because this is just cray-cray. Watch this.
Fell into what?
Whoa! Jeez!
Oh no!
That's insane. Look at that. Okay. Oh man. Boom, boom, boom. So what causes something like that? Okay, now watch this. You'll see that in the top, they highlight it, and the video just the drone just blasts by over these people's heads. Watch. Whoa. Bro. Now you feel like how it's like in Gaza, right, bitch? Yeah. The Americans will know. Was this a Muslim attack? God, everybody's talking about that Christmas market thing, and everybody immediately jumped to conclusions. People were like, an attack on a Christian market, right? It's these Christmas markets in Magdeburg, Germany, and everybody's like immediately jumping to conclusions about the motivation of this guy who plowed into, I think he injured 200 people and may have killed 2 or 3 at a Christmas market in Magdeburg in Germany. And it appears to be a premeditated attack, but the motives are a little sketchy at this point. People are trying to nail down this guy, saying that he's from Saudi Arabia. So like, oh, he's Muslim. But then other things show that he was an atheist and that he actually was right wing and he supported right wing causes. I just am not going to speculate about things like that and just try and let the facts come out. Everybody else can report however they want to feel their biases one way or another. They use a terrible tragedy to confirm their biases. But for me, in my house, we will serve the truth and just the whole truth and nothing but the truth and just wait until the details come out. However, this was quite shocking.
Fell into water.
What's happening? Why are they shooting in all directions?
Jesus.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Falling.
I love that guy. It's the gay guy. This is like the token gay guy. Oh no. Are they supposed to be falling? Leave it to the kids to ask the real questions.
Fell in the water.
Oh my gosh. I'm just surprised that more chicks weren't screaming at the top of their lungs. That's what girls always do. It's like something is remotely wrong in some way, and you're like, random women just immediately like, which is funny that I say that it reminds me. I don't want to get too off the topic here, but it reminds me of this story that somebody said the other day, which they were trying to like use this evolutionary basis for why it's women and children first on the Titanic, which I thought was a really interesting argument, even if it's probably bullshit, but who knows. Was that this guy was on Twitter, how Twitter guys tend to be. It wasn't Elon Musk for once. But it was a guy who was saying that the reason why it's women and children first, they think it's about like chivalry and all that kind of stuff. But it's really not. It's really about, getting your kids and your women folks out of the crisis situations so that the men can get together and think without them all screeching and screaming and acting the fools, which I actually think is kind of a funny, and it's even like a more misogynist way in a sense. Like, it's not women and children first because your lives are more important or valuable than ours. It's women and children first because the women won't stop screaming or shut the hell up if we don't just get them out of here so the men can figure out what to do. Seems legit. Arvold says, how are his motives not clear? It was an attack on a Christian Christmas market. Muslim or not, it was an attack on Christians. Maybe, but I mean, Christmas doesn't just belong to you guys, remember? If it was an attack on people who go to Christmas I go to Christmas markets, right? Is that an atheist on atheist violence? I mean, I'm more agnostic, right? But I mean, it's like, but you could like immediately ascribe a motive to the person, right? It's kind of like, we haven't read his manifesto yet. So, I mean, if that is true, you could be right, rvolt24, but I prefer to try not to jump to conclusions, right, in these things, right? Because whenever you do, you get in trouble with things like this, especially I have a position of responsibility here, right? And like, it's easier to just, if nobody is like hanging on your every word, it's like, sure, you can run your mouth off and just say it's this or that or whatever, or you have no responsibility to your audience, so nobody's going to hold you accountable, right? But like, I have a group of people who hold me accountable, and I also have a conscience, so I try and be careful about stuff like that. Samantha Rupp now, the 15-year-old girl who shut out the Christian school, that is much more clear because she had a manifesto and because of what she posted clearly online, and I haven't read the manifesto of the guy who attacked it. Has he dropped one yet? Right, so I just need to, give me a couple more days. I'll come back. I'll read the stories. I'll come back on Christmas, and maybe you're right about that. Right. Women screech and scream even when it's not a disaster situation like the Titanic going down. Exactly, John. Get out of here, ladies. We're trying to concentrate. We're trying to save our own lives. Why are they shooting in all directions? Well, you think you could go to a Christmas show and just be safe these days, but no, drones going to start flying around, shooting kids in the face.
No. Oh no. I don't think they're supposed to be falling.
I don't think they're supposed to be falling. Zoom. Welcome to the rice fields, motherfucker. Good morning, guys. I love you. It's the Wake Up America show, and we unlocked the bonus content. Good for you. You know why? Because we got a resident furry in the house. He went over and he bought 4 boxes of Martha's Mint, and that's a wise plan. I'm drinking Martha's Mint this morning. Kermode Bear, my favorite furry. Here's to you, my brother from another furry mother. Delicious Martha's Mint. I put it in a little chocolate sauce and a tiny bit of sugar and a little bit of milk just to make it just kind of this delicious drink. It's better than what you can get at Starbucks. It's only at forlibertyshop.com. That's our delicious founding flavors coffee, Martha's Mint. The holiday blends are going away, so get them before they're gone. Try the roasted pecan. Go to forlibertyshop.com, guys, and buy yourself some delicious founding flavors coffee. Those holiday blends, once they're gone, they're like a drone in the night. They'll smash you in the face and leave you for dead. No, I'm just kidding. It's the Wake Up America shows For Liberty Shop, guys. Brandon Meyer says, I'd get further away, wouldn't you? Yes, I would. Anyways, I just thought that was a crazy video, and it was fun, and it was funny. It's worth at least 10 seconds every time. President-elect Donald Trump is openly discussing provocative aspirations for U.S. territorial expansion. Thank God somebody is. As he prepares to return to the White House, warning about taking over the Panama Canal, thank God, and wresting control of Greenland from Denmark. Now, let me tell you about my Danish family, okay? My dad posted this Facebook post the other day about Denmark, our family in Denmark. There it is. Popped up first thing on my Dad, I love you, Dad. Thank you. On his Facebook. So Danish pride was kind of a thing in the Peterson household, especially as a child growing up, and especially the time that we would spend at Christmas with our family. We would talk about our Danish history and our ancestors and the people that the Petersons that we were related to that were still over there in Denmark. And what a perfect time to discuss this when we talk about Greenland still held by Denmark and the Panama Canal angle, which has another Peterson family interest or tie, which may or may not be interesting to you. But my father's father, my grandfather, was Hans Peterson. Hans Peterson was my grandfather, whose father came over from Denmark in the 1900s and brought his family, the Peterson family, to Missouri, ultimately to Kansas City, where my father, of course, was born, and then met my mother, Donna Jo Peterson, in the 1960s, got married in the 1970s, and came to Peculiar to raise us on a farm. Where I'm going today. But there's your Peterson family history for you. But every Christmas, we would have almost 3 Christmases. One would be at my mother's side of the family. One would be our intimate side of the family, our close family in the mornings. And then in the afternoons, we would go to Hans and to Rose, and my daughter's name is Hazel Rose Peterson. We would go to the Peterson family, and there were Christmas, and there were just kids everywhere. I mean, just dozens and dozens of people. And there was Danish pride. There was discussion about our ancestry and the trip on that ship Heilig Olav from Copenhagen. The Pedersens became Petersens, S-E-Ns, and we had some Danish pride from my father's side of the family. And one of the interesting stories that my dad likes to share is how much my grandfather, Hans, was pissed off at Jimmy Carter and hated the Democrats, and also was angry at a Missouri senator who negotiated the transfer of the Panama Canal to Panama. We built it. We funded it. It was the Panama Canal. A man, a plan, a canal. Panama. If you know what I mean. Hannah is a palindrome. So is Otto. Otto is a palindrome. And speaking of Otto, where's Nelson Otto this morning? Haven't seen him yet. But yes, so my grandpa always hated, it was Danforth, John Danforth, Missouri Senator Danforth. Grandpa Hans, we called him Hans, not Hans. Grandpa Hans, he always was sore at the Democrats, Jimmy Carter and Danforth, Missouri Senator Danforth, for the giving away of the Panama Canal. So that was just an interesting note, was that when I was running for the U.S. Senate here in Missouri in 2018, my opponent, Josh Hawley, now the U.S. Senator from Missouri, his biggest backer was Senator John Danforth. And my dad would constantly remind me that his dad, Hans Peterson, always had a bug up his butt about the Panama Canal being given away by Danforth and, of course, Jimmy Carter. But now we might take it back, baby. And I guess to punish our Danish family, we might be taking Greenland. But this interesting story that my father posted on his Facebook page, I think is fascinating. This is directly after World War II, because I have a great uncle who was killed in Italy. And my family, a few years after the war, traveled to Denmark to meet with our extended family there and to check up on them. Of course, Denmark gotten taken over by the Nazis. And then, eventually, when the war was lost and Denmark really suffered and struggled to rebuild after the war. And my family, of course, wanted to retrieve my great uncle's body from Europe, and they also wanted to check on their extended relatives. So my grandfather, Hans Peterson, took a part of my family to Denmark, and the Kansas City Star reported it thusly with the headline, "Trip abroad is rugged." It says, Kansas Cityans, that's how we pronounce it, failed to achieve the goal of their journey. Listen to this. Travel accommodations abroad still are in a confused state. 3 Kansas Cityans just returned from Denmark discovered. Back at home today are Hans Peterson, 63 years old, his daughter, Miss Olga Peterson, 29, and his daughter-in-law, Mrs. Sarah Peterson, all of 510 Wallace Avenue. The objective of their trip unfulfilled, that was a visit to the grave of Mrs. Sarah Peterson's husband, Private Robert Peterson, my uncle, who was killed in action in Italy and buried at Tarchiania near Rome. However, offsetting this disappointment, stringent rationing in Denmark and other inconveniences was a visit with a sister of Hans Peterson, Mrs. Katharina Winter Copenhagen, whom he hadn't seen in 35 years. Also visited was a sister-in-law of Hans Peterson, Mrs. Izzy Peterson, in Lemvig. Food, including meat, is plentiful, but clothing is scarce. Such items as arrive from England are prohibitive in price, the Kansas Cityans were told. Efforts to obtain visas for Italy were started here, but not completed on the Gripsholm sailing schedule, and further efforts abroad failed. Hans Peterson was born in Denmark and is a naturalized American citizen. So that Hans Peterson was actually, that was my great-grandfather, Hans. So we had a couple of Hanses. That's how the Petersons are. It's like, my name is Hans, and my son's name is Hans, and his brother's name is Christian and Anton. Hans, Christian, Jensen, and Anton. And my brother's name, Justin J. Peterson, is Jorgen, right? But that's like Joseph, but it's a Jurgen. That's how they pronounce it. Jurgen, fur. Yeah, so we're Danish, and there's your Danish story, and it's got a little World War II twist. And my great-grandfather was unsuccessful then at that point, but they did eventually later retrieve my uncle's body from Italy and bring it back here to the United States, and we would always visit his grave every Memorial Day. So there's the story, and I'm sticking to it. Looks like it was 1947 that had happened, but they did bring Uncle Robert's body back and buried him in Mount Washington Cemetery in Independence. But who cares about all the family history, guys? Let's talk about this.
And in conclusion, on January 20th, the United States will turn the page forever on 4 long, horrible years of failure, incompetence, national decline, and we will inaugurate a new era of peace, prosperity, and national greatness. It's going to be national greatness. It will be something very, very special. And you could use a little of that because you haven't seen any of it in 4 years. What's happened to our country is so sad. We're going to cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories roaring back to America and right back here to Arizona. Because
there we go. Good for us. Well, I hope it happens. A golden age of America.
For all of us standing before you today, I can proudly proclaim that the golden age of America is upon us.
I like the spirit. I like the attitude. I like the direction we're going in. And yet...
My pen, on day one, we're going to stop the transgender lunacy. And I will sign executive orders to end child sexual mutilation, get transgender out of the military and out of our elementary schools and middle schools and high schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports. And that will likewise be done on day one. Should I do day one, day two, or day three? How about day one?
He's got so much to do on day one, man. That is going to be the busiest day on the history of all day ones.
Right? Under the Trump administration, it will be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
That's right. That's right. So a lot of the stuff I agree with. You know what the funny thing is about the transgenders in the military? These people are willing to die for us, but we don't want them to. I mean, they're willing to sign up. They're willing to serve. They're willing to go and like throw their mutilated bodies in front of a tank for us. And we're like, no, you can't do it because you cut off your wingman. I don't know how I feel about that. It's kind of like, should they be serving in a frontline role? No. But have there been transgender people who served our military honorably and well, like our friend Sarah Higdon? Yes. Right. If they have to be on hormone blockers or something, it's obvious you shouldn't be on the front line. But when you start asking questions like that, it gets a little dangerous, right? The solution might be just ban it completely because, you can't serve in a frontline military role because you are obviously on a drug and need to take this drug, this hormone. And you can't obviously serve in a combat role doing something like that. Well, okay, then why do we want women on the front lines? Because they have a visitor that comes to them once a month, and when you're out in the field, it's quite inconvenient, right? You have to supply, to deal with that. So, then now all of a sudden, military readiness. So, what about all the women who get pregnant in the military, right? And they get court-martialed. Do they get court-martialed? No, they don't. They just get a cushy assignment somewhere else. Right. So, I mean, people who are willing to sign up and fight and die for our country, you kind of have to make accommodations to them to the greatest extent possible. But if it diminishes your fighting capability, then yeah, it probably does need to be removed. Does it diminish the fighting capability to have people in a back room who are licking stamps and sending out the Army's mail or something like that? Probably not. All right. But I guess this is a question for our audience. What do you guys think? Send us a text, 573-319-1586. 573-319-1586. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that and more. I will be going on Christmas vacation, guys. Yay. Somebody texted in and asked, can I make tea that tastes like coffee? That's funny. No, just drink the coffee, man. Just drink the freaking coffee. Another listener texted in, this was on Sunday, said, first of all, I wish you and your family Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. Thank you. I also want to tell you about a disturbing political issue. L'chaim. Someone in the comment section of a video on Brian Tyler Cohen's YouTube section, interesting, was hoping that the electors would be faithless in Kamala Harris's favor. Based on past experience, I doubt this person is alone in that hope. I get it. Yes. Not gonna happen. There's no danger of something like that. There have been faithless electors in the past, but it's never really been a big, huge issue enough to sway the outcome of an election one way or another. In this situation, I really think it's very much very, very, very limited chance of something like that. All right. Speaking of Panama Canal and taking back Greenland, why would we want to take back the Panama Canal? Take a listen.
Looking at, it's such a terrible thing has happened.
People are saying a man who thinks he's a woman is crazy. They are all mentally unfit, right? Anybody who would throw themselves in front of it, who put on a military uniform and go and salute and throw their own body in front of a tank in general is a little crazy themselves, don't you think? Right? That's not a slight, but I mean, in some sense, you got to be a little crazy to join the military.
The Panama Canal is considered a vital national asset for the United States of America due to its critical role of American economy, the whole world economy, and also national security. The Panama Canal. Has anyone ever heard of the Panama Canal? Huh?
Yeah,
we're being ripped off.
They still do teach the Panama Canal in American public schools, I'm pretty sure. Has anyone heard of the Panama? But I wouldn't be shocked. Trump knows that the American educational system is going to hell. But does everybody know about the Panama Canal?
And also national security. The Panama Canal. Has anyone ever heard of the Panama Canal? Huh? Because we're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else. A secure, he just said, take it back. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Where do you come from, sir? He doesn't come from Panama. Oh, yeah, good. A secure Panama Canal is crucial for U.S. commerce and rapid deployment of the Navy from the Atlantic all the way to the Pacific. It's an incredible thing. And drastically cut shipping times down to U.S. ports by days and even weeks. The United States is the #1 user of the Panama Canal, with over 72% of all transits heading to or from U.S. ports. Think of that. So we built it. We're the ones that use it. They gave it away. Considered one of the one of the great wonders of the world. The Panama Canal opened for business 110 years ago and was built at huge cost to the United States, and it really is big when you consider the lives and the
because we're reading, this is all a reaction to the fact that we're reading that China is buying up stock in the Panama Canal companies and the ones that form around the ports or system around the Panama Canal. So imagine a scenario where the United States funds, builds this incredible wonder of the world, the Panama Canal, and then we give it away, and then our enemies get it, and then they don't allow us to use it. That strikes me as, well, pretty retarded.
The equivalent of 1.2.
Mighty Megatron says we didn't give it away. The lease was up. We did give it away in effect, because it's kind of like the situation with Hong Kong, and it was the British had like a 99-year mandate over Hong Kong. And they're supposed to leave, but you don't have to leave. You just don't leave, right? You say the lease was up. Well, you know, we're not going anywhere, right? That's just how that works, right? You just say, oh, well, the lease was up. We didn't give it up. The lease was up. Oh, we're going to renew the lease, motherfucker. Like we built it. It's with our money. It was with our, you know, our taxpayer dollars were stolen from us for it. So the lease was up, but it's like, the worst decision one of the worst decisions the British Empire ever made was saying, no, we're just going to give up Hong Kong. And now look what's happening to the poor citizens of Hong Kong, right? They just fed them to the wolves, right? Similar situation in Panama. Lease was up. Get a new lease, right? We're going to renew our lease 99 more years, right? And then a fair market price for it. And that's how this works. That's real politics.
From infected, and the treasure, the equivalent of $1.2 trillion today. You don't hear those numbers. 38,000 American men, almost all men, they went there to be construction workers and dig. They were diggers, and they were brave. 38,000 men died from infected mosquitoes in the jungles of Panama during the construction period. Think of that. We lost 38,000 men. Teddy Roosevelt was president of the United States at the time of its building and understood the strength of naval power and trade. When President Jimmy Carter foolishly gave it away for $1. During his term in office, it was solely for Panama to manage and not for China or any other country to manage. You see what's going on there? China.
Good stuff. China. We still got Cliff Maloney. He was the speaker of that event. He'll be joining us at 8:30 a.m. this morning. I just looked it up. The British lease of Hong Kong was 99 years. It began in 1898 with the Second Convention at Peking, where China leased the new territories to Britain, and ended in 1997 when the entirety of Hong Kong was handed back to China. Still think it was a mistake. You've unlocked the bonus content. Enjoy it. We'll be right back. We'll talk a little bit more. I've got a billion clips. I might have to turn off the stream on YouTube and the other channels because some of the stuff's a little explicit. We'll be right back on the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. Now it's time. Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian, and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
Conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist. Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins.
World. And you take a look at the Panama Canal. It was such an incredible engineering marvel. We sold it under Jimmy Carter. We sold it to Panama for $1. The following day, they quadrupled the amount of money that ships had to pay to get across. They didn't lose one ship. And now they've made it much bigger, and now they've widened it. They've doubled it, right? They've more than doubled it. And it's one of the most profitable things. Any time it's just incredible, right? We gave it away for $1. China now controls it. They actually control the Panama Canal. They run it, they control it. And we shouldn't let that happen. And we can't let China be in Cuba. And they'll get out. If I'm president, they'll get out. Because I had a very good relationship with President Xi, but he respected this country, he respected me, and he'll get out. And we can't let them run the Panama Canal. We built the Panama Canal. Should have never been given to Panama. We should have had it. But we gave it for $1. Think of it. They quadrupled. In one day, they lifted the fees, which are, pretty big, for these massive ships to go through, right? Rather than going around the Cape and to all the tremendous storms, such beauty, it's beautiful stuff. But you didn't want to get caught in those storms. Those were storms that wiped out the biggest ships. And we go through the Panama Canal, we built it, and we gave it away for $1. Think of that, how stupid are we? We have done the stupidest things in this country.
Completely free. Make Panama American again. Woohoo! Good morning. Merry Christmas, everybody. It's the Wake Up America show. I'm glad and thankful to have you here. Are you enjoying the show today? Click like. It's not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. It's the Wake Up America show. Brought to you in part by viewers and listeners just like you. I see my smoking hot redheaded libertarian wife Stephanie's there. How you doing, baby girl? Wake up, you sexy bitch. It's time to sin. Good morning, pineapple. A Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This Christmas is a Christmas song. It's the Wake Up America show where everything goes on Christmas week. We've been talking about news stories. We've been goofing around. We've been talking about the last year. Guys, have any New Year's Eve resolutions? I'm really excited for Friday because when we do come back this week, you will get a show on Friday, and it'll be a Freedom Family Friday with me and Steffi. Yeah, we'll be back. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm off. And we'll be back on Friday. And then we will talk about our New Year's resolutions and what we expect to happen with For Liberty Network and with the Wake Up America show and forlibertyshop.com. But we already have a brand new announcement for you guys. I'm super excited. And it's because of popular demand. Liberty. Yes. Patriotic premium teas. You can only get For Liberty at forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4, libertyshop.com. For Liberty, patriotic premium teas. The For Liberty collection is steeped in patriotism. I recommend the English breakfast. A lot of people love masala chai, nice spicy chai. But the mango treat is delicious cold. Serve cold, brew it, and then turn it around, whip it up, and put it into maybe make your own little mango tea lassi. Would be absolutely delicious. Get them. Some people also like the Earl Grey. Get them at forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4, libertyshop.com. For Liberty. So many more exciting announcements to come in 2025. But don't forget, Founding Flavors Coffee's holiday blends are going away. No! And you have no right to be angry at me, guys, because I have told you everything about it. I have told you guys that it is going away. Martha's Mint Coffee, Roasted Chestnut Delight, only available for a few more days, guys. So go to forlibertyshop.com, the number 4, libertyshop.com, and get yourself some roasted chestnut in case you guys wanted to try it. But Jonathan is smart. Kermode Bear has decided to stock up on boxes and boxes of Martha's Mint because it's absolutely delicious. So make sure that you guys give that a try. Oh, and Clementine, bro, we owe you a big debt of gratitude. Thank you for the delicious cookie box. Diug, he sent us a Christmas card with a picture of him wearing one of our Aloha AK-47 shirts at forlibertyshop.com. Actually, let's see if I can find it. AK-47 Aloha. And I designed this shirt myself. Yeah. Liberty Retro Electric AK-47 Aloha shirt. I don't have the picture of Diug sitting outside. He's sitting outside in the snow like he's like recreating underneath the sun, and like the snow is coming down all over him, and he's wearing his Liberty Retro Electric AK-47 Aloha shirt that was created by me. Only available at 4libertyshop.com. That's the number 4libertyshop.com. Get your Liberty Retro Electric AK-47 Aloha shirt like Doug Hill Clementine, a.k.a. Clementine. Hey, Doug, we appreciate everything you've done for the original Cantina crew. Thanks for supporting the 4 Liberty Network. He sent us a box of delicious treats and cookies, and I'm bringing them home today to share them with my niece, or excuse me, my nephew, with my sister, my brother, my dad, and my wife, and little baby Hazel can't really eat them just yet, but she's starting on some solids. So she's getting the sweet potato treatment, and I let her have I put like a little bit of bacon in her mouth to let her kind of taste it and stuff yesterday, but then she promptly threw it up. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? She seemed to enjoy it though. Her eyes kind of lit up. She got a little suckle of the bacon, and she was like, a little taste of it. And she was just like, She's like, me love bacon. Anyways, don't tell mom, because she's like, yeah, they can't have meat. 4libertyshop.com. Get yourself some delicious 4 Liberty. 4 Liberty. That's the number 4 Liberty. Oops, excuse me.
What's happening? Why are they shooting in all directions?
That video ends too. Videos that end too soon. Videos that end too soon. Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! It comes down like right there. The drone is like launching at whoever's filming, and then he's cut the drone. That is not. This guy would not last in a war zone. Trying to take pictures. Imagine if the men who brought cameras on the beaches at D-Day had the guts to turn off their cameras right when the MG-42 machine gun started firing. We wouldn't have all the footage Steven Spielberg used to construct his famous war scene, Saving Private Ryan today.
Fell in the water. What's happening? Why are they shooting in all directions?
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch this. I mean, it's like, look, you can see it right here. You can see it on the screen. It's real, right? Jeez, that is terrifying stuff. Jeez, run around. Everybody panic. That incident was in Florida. And apparently, parents say that a little boy is clinging to life after this incident. This happened at a Christmas show in Florida. Drones collided in midair. They were sent careening into the crowd at high speeds, resulting in several reported injuries, including a young boy whose mothers say is clinging to life. And I'm really confused about the wording of this one from the New York Post. I'm reading the story. It says, here's how it reads. And you tell me, maybe it's just too early. Maybe I haven't drank enough Martha's Mint here. Drones at a Christmas show in Florida collided in midair and were sent careening to the crowd below at high speed, resulting in several reported injuries, including a young boy whose mothers say is clinging to life. Whose mother says. It should be whose mother says, but because it's 2024, and because it is the case that lesbians and homosexual gay men are adopting children, I want to say that I think this is a misprint. If it weren't for the fact that it also, little boy, if the headline wasn't this, the headline is wild video shows drones. Here, I'll just leave it up. I'm going to mute it though. I'm going to mute it. Here's the video. Hold on, let me pull up the story. Wild video shows drones dive bombing Florida Christmas show crowd. Multiple injuries reported, including little boy whose moms say is clinging to life. So you would think that, is that some kind of misprint there? It doesn't sound right. Whose moms say is clinging to life. Moms, plural. So like, how do you have more than two moms? Well, oh dude, it's Austin. Moms, whose moms say. Moms. And then lesbians. Yes, look, it's Liz. Yes, lesbians do exist. They are lesbians. Say good morning, pineapple.
Good morning, pineapple.
Ding, 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 ding.
Very nice.
Ding, ding.
Good morning, pineapple.
Looking very good, very nice. Ding, 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 ding. He must have been drinking that masala chai over there at 4 Liberty shop. In our 4 Liberty collection. Ding 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 ding. Good morning, pineapple. Looking very good, very nice.
Good morning,
Pineapple. Looking very good, very nice.
Good
Morning, pineapple. Looking very good, very nice. Yeah, Stephanie and I were singing that all weekend. Good morning, pineapple. Looking very good, very nice. Ding, 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 ding. God dang, Austin, you'll embarrass yourself for clicks and for digital likes that don't add up to anything. No, we're doing great. I appreciate the donation. Thank you, Quest. Did you know the famous Western director John Ford was on Guam when the Japanese attacked? He did not take cover. It's his footage. Yes, I did know that. It's a incredible story. See, we were at 160 viewers, and once I started doing the ning, I went down to 159. I'm sorry, guys. Ning, it's just so catchy.
It was likewise not given for Panama to charge the United States, its Navy, and its corporations doing business within our country exorbitant prices and rates of passage, which they do. They charge us like it's a disgrace. Our Navy and Commerce have been treated in a very unfair and injudicious way. The fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous, highly unfair, especially knowing the extraordinary generosity that has been bestowed to Panama, I say very foolishly, by the United States. This complete ripoff of our country will immediately stop. It's going to stop.
Good.
The United States has a big and vested interest in the secure, efficient, and reliable operation of the Panama Canal. And that was always understood
damn
when
straight.
They gave it to Panama. Can you believe that? We would never have done it if we thought what's happening now can happen, and we would never, and we will never, ever let it fall into the wrong hands. But it's falling into the wrong hands.
Austin Pajeterstein. Austin Pajeterstein. The random dude says, can you stop the pineapple thing or do it less frequently? Cringy as fuck. Yes, I can. Thank you. So after the GOP, the MAGA populists and the Republican Party spent all weekend beating up their fellow Republicans for voting against the continuing resolutions, driving the Republican Party into chaos last week, they invited Cenk Uyger onto the stage at America Fest and gave him a round of applause. Glenn Beck had this to say.
So we have to look for the light that is between us. We have to know who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, who's actually on the team. And now that we have all of this popularity, suddenly Donald Trump is cool with everyone. We have to make sure those who wear masks are not coming in and claiming to be part of this team, and they have no intention of being on the team.
Damn straight, Glenn. That's my boy. It's my boy right there, Glenn. Who's that? What, all those billionaires who worked against Donald Trump, all those celebrities, the Mark Cubans of the world, the people who want access to power, the Mark Zuckerbergs wearing the mask, trying to get in, literally and figuratively, right? Trying to curry favor with the Trump administration, but who are working against our interests. Thank you, Glenn. We appreciate that.
You survived, and after you survived an assassination, you literally were shot in your head. Yeah. And had the presence of mind to respond, fight, fight, fight. I mean, that's a political talent. It's undeniable. And also, I never believed that it was about fascism. And for me, that made it difficult for
Kamala Harris said that he was a fascist.
Yeah, well, it's like that's her prerogative.
John Fetterman, like the last reasonable Democrat, it seems. Random dude says, "Love the show, man. Sorry to be so mean." It's cool, man. It's cool. No, you're right. It's here's the thing. I cringe so that you can laugh, right? You're supposed to laugh, like at me, with me. The show's supposed to be fun and funny, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it. We're glad to have you here.
But it's not a word that I would use because you put a lot of Democrats, especially in my state, that I know and I happen to love people that are going to vote for Trump, and they are not fascist. And
thank you.
Also, fascism. That's not a word that regular people, use. That I think
regular
people are
yes.
going to decide who is the candidate that's going to protect and project, my version of the American way of life, and that's what happened.
Love to hear it,
and
man.
after you survive,
that's just Senator John Fetterman. I mean, he calling Trump a singular political talent. I mean, just being real about stuff. Whitey White 14 says Glenn Beck hated Trump so much he put his face in a bowl of Cheetos. Need I remind people that I was a Trump critic, and that I ran for president in 2016 and ran against, because I thought that when he said that he was for socialized medicine, that he was serious. But like tariffs, it seems like it's really more about threats than it is about, being the dictator that people say that he is. And I learned that he was actually a fairly good president. I think he got screwed by the pandemic. And that's why 2020 the situation, came down to how we got Joe Biden. But when Trump was actually able to govern, when he wasn't being impeached or sued or tried to be thrown in jail, he was actually doing a pretty damn good job as president of the United States. As a matter of fact, a lot of the things that Donald Trump did, a lot of right-wing MAGA populists were mad at him for were actually libertarian accomplishments of his, which made me comfortable with supporting him and joining the campaign, becoming a delegate for Donald Trump here in the state of Missouri. So I don't give Glenn Beck crap for, hating on Donald Trump and then realizing that he was actually a pretty good president when he actually governed, and that it was worthwhile supporting him to stop the let's use the word fascist, the fascist left that we know the meaning of because we're not normal people, right, Senator Fetterman? But I give Glenn Beck credit for, like myself, coming around realizing that it was the right thing to do, which he did. And I think that, Glenn's definitely one of the good guys. He's always been one of the good guys. Glenn and I very much in sync and copacetic on ideas and ideals. And he said as much when he interviewed me on his show back in 2016.
There are big fancy college words called oligarchy, plutocracy that folks tonight might want to look up. It's called rule by rich folks. And that's what we're dealing with. A bunch of rich folks, two rich people threw a fit online and threw the government upside down. That is not good for America. Now, did the bill go from big to little? What happened is that the bipartisan deal that got struck by elected officials of our country were overthrown by two billionaires throwing a fit, and it's not even January.
Scott, what's your take on that?
Well, if Van is concerned about unelected officials running the government, I would invite him to review the last 4 years of the Biden administration and maybe pick up the Wall Street Journal this week. We've apparently had a president that's so diminished that his staff has been hiding it from the American people and making key decisions on behalf of our government, despite never having been elected to anything at all. So if you're concerned about it tonight, maybe take a look over the last 4 years. Look, I think ultimately all's well that ends well. The government did not shut down. We're not in any kind of crisis over the holidays here. And when the Republicans get sworn in January and Trump comes to the office on January the 20th, they're going to have to come together as a team and decide, are we going to work together or not? That's ultimately how you get things done in a legislative body. This is where the Democrats had some things right. Jeffries had them unified, and that's.
I mean, that's Jennings, Scott Jennings over on CNN. He's like the token conservative over there. And that Wall Street Journal article I actually did share with you last week where I talked about the Biden, essentially how they managed Joe Biden's decline and keeping him away from he doesn't even speak to the Secretary of the Department of Defense.
Oh, I don't think we're witnessing the start of an oligarchy. I think we are fully here. You literally have a completely unelected billionaire who has just taken over and paused government funding to specifically take out provisions regarding China and other areas.
Good.
that pertain to him. You have billionaires who run news outlets like Jeff Bezos and the Washington Post, billionaires that run the LA Times, completely interjecting into their editorial boards and manipulating what's being written in them. We're here. We are here. And
she's kind of right. We are sort of an oligarchy. Here she is being confronted by Nick Sortor.
Ocasio-Cortez, so your district is really suffering under the pressure of the border crisis.
Thank you.
Why are... I'm sorry.
Trying to get through the tour, man.
Don't touch me. What are you... What? Your district is very much suffering through the border crisis. Biden's border crisis. Why will you not...
Stores are slippery here. They're even slipperier when you got a staffer pushing you away.
Excuse me, sir. Get out of my way. Dude, fucking get your hands off me. What? You're gonna fall down the stairs, man.
You're gonna fall, especially if you're pushing me.
Stop touching me.
Dude, it would be so easy to like do like a little simple ashi barai, a little Japanese foot sweep, and that guy would be gone. He'd be out of your face. The only problem is that he'd smash his face down. The liberal guy would get his face smashed down into the marble, and then you'd go to jail.
Are you talking to the Biden administration about
Sir, don't touch me.
About fixing the border? Get off of me! What is wrong with you?
Dude.
I did not touch you. I have it on video.
I haven't touched you. I have it on video. Good God. All right. Pineapples looking very good to very nice. You know who's looking very good to very nice? Cliff Maloney, who spoke at America Fest just this last weekend. He's going to be here with us in less than 5 to give us a recap of what went down, what he thought of the president's speech. Should we take back the Panama Canal? A man, a plan, a canal. Cliff Maloney. We'll be right back on the Wake Up America show. Don't go away. Now it's time.
They say what they're saying, out of 22,000 people, there was 1 COVID death among the vaccinated, and there was 2 COVID deaths on the unvaccinated. Double. 22,000 people. So, and that allowed them to claim it's 100% effective.
Effective for what? You can't use the word effective.
But you remember they kept saying it's 100% effective.
No, they just said it'll negate the severity.
If you go on the internet, you can see Tony Fauci.
But the word effective didn't say you won't get, I never heard you won't get COVID.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a different subject. But yeah, in fact, I saw a tape yesterday of them all, of Biden, Fauci, Gates, Burla, all of them saying, if you take the vaccine, Rachel Maddow, if you take the vaccine, you can't get COVID, you can't pass COVID.
I didn't see that.
Okay, well, you know what? Can I play it for you?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait. Here, it doesn't matter what Rachel Maddow says.
Oh, really? It doesn't matter. Oh, really? Oh, really? It doesn't matter what Rachel... Okay. They said if you can get given it. That's your incoming Department of Health and Human Services Director talking to Howie Mandel about how we manage the pandemic. Good morning, guys. Not much time left. 30 minutes to go. Cliff Maloney running a couple of minutes behind. He's still probably getting over the hangover from America Fest. He's been just going everywhere. This year has just been wild for Cliff. Pennsylvania, big move. Knocking out these huge projects, managing all these different programs all across the country. And I'm sad he doesn't live here in Missouri with us anymore, but he is on Arizona time, Nevada time? I'm not quite sure. Not sure if he's left Phoenix yet, but in Phoenix, Arizona last week, America Fest, headlined by President Donald Trump as well as many other conservative and libertarian stars, was a huge hit. And there was conservative drama, and maybe I'll have time to play the videos of Laura Loomer shrieking at Milo Yiannopoulos while he furiously tongued mysteriously for no reasons at all. People who are hanging out at parties, they do tend to randomly just kind of go like this. And it doesn't mean anything at all. All that and more on the Wake Up America show. Cliff isn't here yet, so I've got a million billion clips to play until he does. Why not? AP. I think my favorite clip has got to be the one of Orlando, Florida, where a Christmas holiday show, drone show, went wrong. Take a look.
The water.
Holy crap. What is going on? Ho, ho, ho.
No, what's happening?
Oh, no.
Why are they shooting in all directions?
Why are the drones shooting in all directions? That's a great question, kid. Watch out. There's another angle.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no! Now we know how the citizens of Gaza. No. Bad joke. Too soon, Austin. Too soon, AP. We all feel terrible for the terrorists. Yes, Austin Peterson. Christmas. It's that time of year where the season of brotherly love, where we reflect on the things that the last year. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. I always get very sentimental about the Christmas holiday, and I'm very excited to be going back to Kansas City today to the family farm, spend some time with mom and dad in Peculiar. Mom passed away a long time ago, but we always try and go and visit her grave if we can. Dad always puts a beautiful holiday wreath on the grave. And today we will be in Peculiar, Missouri. We'll be in downtown Kansas City. We're going to party it up and check out the beautiful lights on the Crown Plaza. If you've never visited Kansas City during Christmas time, boy, it really is a sight. The city of Kansas City is modeled after its sister city, which is Seville, Spain. For those of you who don't know, Kansas City's Crown Plaza, and I call it Plaza, not Plaza. The Kansas City Crown Plaza is absolutely beautiful, and the Christmas lights just light it up to make it look very exotic, very gorgeous. And for those who haven't really spent time in Kansas City, you're really missing out. But my next guest, who is fresh from Phoenix, Arizona, he knows a thing or two about KC Mo. That's right, Missouri. Cliff Maloney, not serving anymore, but we'll claim him. Joining us live from America Fest. Hey, brother, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. How are you? Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, man. I know it's that week when influencer types and people like us, we like to retreat to our bathrobes and our delicious candies. And we certainly got our Irish potatoes in the mail. So Cliff, thanks for those. You and Grace, your gift was much appreciated. But the gift of your friendship and support and what you've done for our country, man, you played a part in saving our country this year. I think we all owe just a big thank you to Cliff Maloney. Everybody say thank you, Cliff, for the Pennsylvania Chase, for AMP America, and for all the good things that you're doing to try and support freedom in the United States. Former Rand Paul staffer. Cliff, how do you feel about this year? Any big reflections or things you want to embark on? Take the stage, my man.
Well, Austin, appreciate you as always. This past week was wild. Got to speak at America Fest. Obviously, Trump was there. I could go through the list, but I'd feel bad. I'd be missing out on so many people. I have to give so much credit to Turning Point. Listen, I've been a competitor of Charlie's in the past. We've kind of grown this amazing relationship, but Austin, you and me have been to thousands of political events, and I mean this wholeheartedly. There's 20,000 people in the room, right? And this is not the political events of the past where everybody there is, 90 years old, or they've got a horrific neck beard. There are normal young men. There are attractive, intelligent young women. It really is a phenomenal thing he's put together. People from all walks of life. It's just really not the political scene of 2010 anymore. And it's not the GOP. It's not these other kind of old school conservative groups. It's Turning Point. So I got to give him so much credit, but it's really cool to just see the coalition come together, and I try to give credit. There were so many different people that played a part in this. And look, we're finally doing on the right what the left has done for decades. And Austin, when I say on the right, The crazy thing, and we get torn to shreds all the time by these left libertarian, I call them kooks now, because they're so off base. Because I mean, look at what the right has become. You know, you have Trump on stage giving this huge anti-war speech. We've got Bobby Kennedy, we've got Tulsi Gabbard, we've got Ron Paul advising a Department of Government efficiency. So I don't know what else has to happen to get some of our so-called liberty friends to come on in. But you know what? I really don't have time for it anymore. You don't have time for it anymore. We're part of this great new coalition on the right that is actually cutting government and creating reform. And so when I look back on the past year, I feel blessed. I feel, honored to have been a part of it. And I think that this is a new beginning for those that want to battle and be involved to advance liberty.
Yeah, man, I hear everything that you're saying, and maybe we shouldn't dwell on it too much, but it is interesting. You bring up it's not 2010 anymore, right? During the Tea Party years, we libertarians, we really felt ascendant to a large part, but the Tea Party, I think, in some ways, because of how it folded, the way that everything went down is that it kind of like got bought out by the establishment early. They set up these competing institutions that weren't principled, and then they managed to keep young principled people out of the way because these people had already sold their soul in Washington, D.C., and they sure as hell weren't going to let Ron Paul and Austin Peterson and Cliff Maloney and the whole gaggle gang of Ron Paulers come in and upset their apple cart. So they managed to use their institutional power to prevent a libertarian moment back in what we thought would be, maybe Rand Paul taking over in 2016, with the kind of the zenith of the Tea Party. But something happened, something changed. And in some ways, while I prefer the policies of Rand Paul, there is something that Donald Trump has that I think a lot of us libertarians really lack, and it's balls. And that is not the kind of thing that you can quantify, but it is the type of thing that produces results, Cliff, because you see them, right? It's like, the hindsight is going to be 20/20, but when you see somebody who's got balls, whether it be man or woman on the right, depending on how you feel about the transgender issue, at the end of the day, Cliff, like I kind of got frustrated with the whole, like, let's play ideological games. And it's like, I'm a warrior, right? I may not be like a genius, like a warrior philosopher king or anything like that, but I've always known the truth is that it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in war. And so it's kind of like, there's this, there's a Japanese word for people like this. They call them vegetarians or things like that. It's kind of, in a sense, it's this weak in the knees libertarianism. They're not willing to like fight for their principles. It's like you just want to sit in your ivory towers and go to expensive dinners in Lafayette Circle in Washington D.C. and not disturb the apple cart either, because there's an entrenched establishment within libertarianism that they don't like Javier Milei because he showed that, political action does work. What Cliff Maloney does in Pennsylvania, it matters. This kind of handshaking, this retail politics, they don't want to get their hands dirty because they might have to use hand sanitizer after they shake hands with normal people like you and I do.
Well, you know what I found is it's so much easier to just say, here's why, I'm not involved. And it's just so much excuse. It's so much making excuses is it's almost like an epidemic. Not just within like libertarian circles, but almost just within grassroots circles. And Donald Trump, I feel like, presents such a great opportunity. Austin, here's a big argument I'll make on your show this morning. Okay. I think you're right about 2010. And I think that what we're seeing right now is the real question that those of us that want to advance freedom have to ask is, how do we avoid that institutional takeover or the manipulation of what the people want versus what they're going to get? So here's my big prediction. You're going to end up with two different sides. You're going to have Doge and you're going to have the swamp. Okay. And look, I'm not saying that we know who the players are going to be on each of them, especially not the elected officials, right? They're going to have a choice. The swamp is going to be represented by all the corrupt interests, all the lobbyists, all the corporate, kind of the people that come in to make sure that they get their gravy train and that nothing stops the military-industrial complex. We know who those players are. Doge is going to be Elon. It's going to be Vivek. But then you have all these elected officials, and they're going to have a choice. Okay. Trump's going to have a choice. Obviously, I think he's going to be on Doge's side, but he's going to have the swamp in his ear, right? Saying, oh, this is too radical. You need to tell Elon this is not how things are done. Vivek doesn't understand. This isn't, a Fortune 500 company. This is the government, and we have to operate this way. But then you have John Thune as Senate Majority Leader. You have Mike Johnson in the House. And they're going to be some of the biggest decision makers, right, of which way do they go? Do they side with Doge or do they side with the swamp? And obviously, down from them, the coattails will be all the members in their party and then all the other members, within their chamber. And I think that if you're somebody out there that really is excited about reform, that is not only what you need to watch for, but if you're asking me how you can help, that is where you need to take action, right? Because there will be so many battles where the swamp is going trying to distort and to pull people from the Doge mission, and the American people must be ready for it. Now, luckily in our toolkit, we've got X, we've got Grok, we've got AI, we've got these things where we can get the word out now and hold these folks accountable. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy literally, by killing that CR, broke the playbook for the first time in 100 years. So to everybody out there, yes, we've won the battle, but the war has just begun. Doge versus the swamp will go down in history as one of the greatest battles between we the people and taking our government back.
Yeah.
Mark my words.
Yeah. Cliff, see, this is why we're friends, because I love this positivity, right? It's very appealing. It's the direction that I think we need to go in. And also, we're going to have to if we want to get a little, we do realize that we have to give a little. And some of the things that Donald Trump is doing aren't necessarily doctrinaire libertarian, but I wrote a piece that just came out in ampamerica.com today. And it's all about what libertarians can expect from a Trump administration. So people like you and I who have an ideological interest in the outcome of these fights are looking at things like Ross Ulbricht. We're looking at things like foreign policy, like you mentioned. We're looking at things like cryptocurrency, and it's been so exciting to see Bitcoin hitting 100,000. It could hit 250,000, dude. This is us. This is our people. This is our movement, right? The decentralization of the monetary unit, as we say in nerd speak. Right? There's a lot to look forward to in the Trump administration. Yes, Doge is a big part of it too. But honestly, and you know what? This may not be the most libertarian thing for me to say, but I kind of sympathize with how Trump feels about the Panama Canal. Right? I kind of like it. It irks me to consider the idea that, we just gave it away to Panama for $1 after we literally had like 30,000 American lives lost building it. And then we give it away for $1, and then Panama turns around and sells it to China, right? That affects the American people and the American economy. Things like that. That seems to be much more of a real that's where like ideology doesn't come in. It's kind of like, he knows we're getting screwed, and he's right. We are kind of getting screwed there, right? That's real politic, right, Cliff?
Yeah, and I think, listen, everything's on the table. Okay, I don't, once again, this isn't 2010, right? We have a fentanyl crisis. So all of a sudden the open border conversation with libertarians is over. This isn't 2010. We have a fentanyl crisis. So all of a sudden the legalize all drugs, when every single one of us now has a family member or a friend who is just absolutely crushed by this heroin/fentanyl addiction, right? Times are just different. Okay, you want to talk about free trade. Like Austin, 10 years ago, I was the guy screaming about 100% free trade. And then you look at some of these protectionisms from other countries and you look at the actual environment that we're in, and there are certain things that you have to change on, right? I don't mean changes in our principles have changed, but you change in that the world stage has changed on where we are. So yes, do I think the Panama Canal is a conversation I wasn't expecting to have a week ago? Sure. But I think Trump is talking about this, that we do have a new golden age. This is a new world, not a new world order. For those listening and transcribing this and going to call me out. But I do think that it is such a new time with new opportunity that I think everybody needs to be open-minded. But I just want to make sure I hit on this one more time. That what you said earlier was brilliant when you say how they manipulated us with the institutions. Right? When we thought the Tea Party was going to be this great new, response to the 08 meltdown, the Federal Reserve crushing our currency, and nothing happened. I mean, yes, Ron Paul had tremendous success in 2012, recruited millions of people with this message, but we really got nothing done through policy. And I think this is the next stage of that. It's up to us to actually try to hold these people accountable. And the best part is we've got the whole MAGA movement. We've got the whole America First movement. In theory, we have the whole Republican Party. And they are pushing the ideals of actual government reform, actually draining the swamp. You've got Elon and Vivek, a lifetime libertarian. These are the people that are actually pushing it. So it's not a hope and a prayer. It's not some guy with a microphone, in DC hoping that he can connect. They are going to present the Doge plan. The swamp is going to try to destroy it. Where do we land is based on that battle.
Hey, one question for you here on a completely unrelated note. This is a story came out of Texas. Representative by the name of Kay Granger has been found. We're talking about being ruled by senior citizens, right? If it's an oligarchy, then it's like what is it when you're in your 90s? What do they call it? Right? You're a septuagenarian when it's 70s. Like you're an octogenarian when you're 80s, and there's when you're 90s here. But this woman, she's 81 years old. She was seen at one point wandering lost and confused around her neighborhood before being admitted to a memory care home. Rather than giving up power, right, and we have a razor thin majority in Congress. It's not like the Republicans have total power here. Rather than give up her seat to somebody who could actually represent her constituents, she just continued to let herself disintegrate into a walking skeleton, checked herself had to probably involuntarily checked into a dimension. Nobody knows. Nobody cares. Right. Is that business as usual in Washington, D.C.? It's got to stop. Right. How many people should we have a dementia test for our public leaders, Cliff? Because honestly, the Constitution, maybe we need to add an amendment, dementia tests for anybody who wants to hold public office. What do you say? The 22nd Amendment or something?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you saw Dianne Feinstein on the left. You see Mitch McConnell right now, still freezing up on camera. And look, this whole Kate Granger thing just is the cherry on top. I root for these people. I wish them good health, but my gosh, where are their families? Right? I mean, heck, we almost had a guy running for president who luckily at the final moment got out because of his mental capacity. I mean, he's still somehow, we justify him holding the nuclear codes as president right now. But Austin, I think it goes to show everything that is wrong with the swamp, right? It is so much power. It is such a gravy train. It is the way to guarantee a future for your family, for your kids, for your grandkids. Nancy Pelosi's net worth, I believe, is up $25 million this year. I wish I had her foresight when it came to my trading skills. So yeah, I just think
that's why I don't want them to end insider trading in Congress, because it's been a really good strategy for us, Cliff, in terms of investments.
Yeah, so I don't know where we go. I think the people need to demand more, but for now, I think let's reform this thing and get these people to act the way we want them to, and then I think the next step is really looking at how we reform this so that we keep out some of these folks that are not legally able to sign paperwork.
Yeah. Can't even drive a car.
Able to vote.
Can't drive a car.
To decide policy in America. It is a wild time.
Cliff, one last question for you before we let you go. You're sitting on Santa's lap. He asks you, have you been a good boy this year? One, which I think you have. But number two, what do you want for Christmas from Santa Trump for next year? What are you hoping really actually happens on? There's a lot of this day one talk. What do you really hope is going to happen on day one?
Yeah, well, one, I'd like to see Ross Ulbricht be a free man. I think that's every libertarian's not dream, but something that we saw a promise from Trump on that. I'm very confident that's going to happen. I think a lot of these peaceful J6 prisoners should be gone day one. I'd like to see World War III not happen. I'd like to see some of these wars around the world come to an end. I think Trump's going to have the ability to do that. Personally, Austin, I've got to make some big decisions on us relaunching the PHH. We will be doing that here in January, but I've really got to figure out how I drilled down. In 2024, it was very easy, right? We went all in on Trump. We said 33% was our number. As you know, I've said it on the show. probably a dozen times. We hit 34.5%. It was a huge win, but it was simple. In 2025, we've got 9,000 judge of elections races. We've got hundreds, if not thousands, of school board races, mayor races, county executive races. But it's very tough to nationalize that, right? How do I get a grandmother in Missouri to care about a school board race in Pennsylvania? There are national implications because we're building for 26 and 28, but it's a much deeper conversation. So that's on my prayer list. That's on my Christmas list to try to figure out, we're going through the motions now of analyzing 2024, relaunching for 2025. And I think it's going to be a great year. I hope you and Steffi have a great Christmas. Appreciate you. Appreciate your viewership. They stepped up. Some came out to knock doors for us. Some sponsored some of our ballot chasers. It's going to take all of us to save this republic.
Hey, we got your back, Cliff Maloney. Merry Christmas to you and to Grace. And I think 2025 is going to be even better than 2024 was. I'm very optimistic. And I know you're going to play a big part in the upcoming, the battles to come. Thanks for everything, Cliff. Again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
We'll see you now. Take care.
Thanks very much. Maloney on the Wake Up America show. There you go. Fresh from America Fest. This is not a Christmas. So many exciting things coming in 2025. Hey, guys, thanks so much for supporting the For Liberty Network. We will be back before the end of the year this Friday. One more Freedom Family Friday with me and Stephanie. Oh, yeah. Christmas song, the Christmas tree's on fire. And us holding the lighter. I went to subscribers. I want gifts, but got subscribers. Something. The Wake Up America show is brought to you in part by viewers and listeners like you. It's the clicking of the likes. It's the clicking of the subscribes. It's the clicking of the follows. It's the purchases of delicious tea at forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4libertyshop.com. Those are drones crashing into a crowd on Christmas. Hopefully your Christmas is a little more peaceful, a little bit more merry, a little bit more bright, maybe a little thick with eggnog. Thanks so much for everything that you guys have done for me and my family. My wife, Stephanie, and I are so grateful for everything. As you exit to the Grift Shop. And as you do, what do? You go to forlibertyshop.com and you buy some of our delicious, patriotic premium teas. First we had coffee, now we have tea. forlibertyshop.com. It's our For Liberty, the For Liberty collection steeped in patriotism. Get them at number 4, libertyshop.com. forlibertyshop.com, guys. We'll see you Friday. See you Friday on the Wake Up America show. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
When I was just a boy, Christmas brought so much.
Now it's time to demands urgency. As Gen Z drives the gig economy forward, it's clear that autonomous, flexible work is here to stay. Influencers show us what the future of work looks like. Passion-driven, independent, and digital. The call for change is loud and clear, but we need public support to amplify it. Influencers aren't going anywhere. Modernizing labor laws is no longer optional. It's a necessary evolution to keep pace with our digital economy while protecting millions of workers. You have the power to make a difference. Share this video, engage in the conversation, and petition for better